Welcome to Twin Signals, Metrics at Work, with Elizabeth P. Morgan. Because metrics only matter when everyone agrees on what they mean.
In this episode of Metrics at Work, I'm joined by Hemant Kumar, Chief Technology and Product Officer at CloudKompass. We explore Hemant's favorite metric, cost to serve per feature, and why understanding feature economics is becoming essential in the AI era. Product leaders, engineering leaders, and CFOs will learn how feature-level economics can guide investment decisions, pricing, and product strategy far more effectively than traditional engineering metrics. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Metrics at Work. I'm very happy to be here today with Hemant Kumar, the Chief Technology and Product Officer at CloudKompass. Hi, Hemant. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon, Elizabeth. How are you doing? I'm good.
I'm good too. Very, very well. Hemant, I was thinking about our time together a few years back at, a few years back in the enterprise software days and recalling how, we were always on the lookout for engineers with soft skills. Right. You always wanted to find team leaders and engineers you could speak to that wanted to speak to the business. And it occurred to me at that time that you were like a stereo version of it, because you didn't just come with soft skills. You also came with, real business savvy. And so it was really fun to think of that. And I'm really happy to hear about your thoughts on metrics through that lens again today. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much. Thank you also to summarize myself. So it's just glad to know that.
Good. Hey, Hemant, I know after Market Logic, you went to bigger and bigger organizations, like leading 150 so people at CGM, leading 150 or so people at CGM, and then 200 or so people after that at Oracle. But earlier you were actually in the startup game again, right? So I think like third or fourth employee at Rocket, which rocketed to huge success with a lovely exit in the teens. So back in the startup business again with CloudKompass.
Yes, absolutely. And it's actually making me younger rather than, getting aged. It's making me younger every time when I work for startups. It's bring kind of an energy. And now I'm again, going back to like really hands-on mode and, wearing all the hats, doing lots of stuff. So yeah, very, very interesting.
So maybe tell us a little bit about CloudKompass. It's a cloud and AI cost intelligence platform, right? So what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, sure. So CloudKompass, it's basically a cost intelligence for the multi-cloud and AI era. It's what it does is it answers what each feature and customer actually costs to serve versus what it should cost with business suited optimization strategy, and then also executes it across 5 hyperscalers and 4 AI providers. Coming into the simpler terms, it's basically it helps companies to understand forecasting, understanding about how their bills aligned, how their resources are being used, and then how to optimize it under multi-cloud environment, and also like replicating also in the AI spend as well. And then using all of these analysis into advanced features like providing cost to serve per feature or forecasting cost to serve impact before it is, merging into the cost itself.
So you're helping all sorts of companies of all sorts of sizes to work out exactly how big, or not how big, their cloud services bills are and their AI model service bills are, but how those bills break down for customer value, for features, for initiatives, engineering initiatives. So
Absolutely.
and you've already soft launched. So you have some partners.
Yeah. So, I would say like soft launch with our pilot customers we did 3 months ago. And then last month, 8th of May, we already made public. So we are now public. It's open. Platform is open for the public. It's not highly advertised at the moment. So we are not aggressively advertising because we're still, focusing on the value. So we are still working with our customers, providing them better and better value, working with them, and then eventually what our whole motto is like, give the value and success will come by itself.
A small agile, mighty startup, right? So how many people and what's the basic structure? Remote?
Yeah. So we are small. We are having some contractor as well. Overall, is we are still in single digit, I would say.
Mhm.
So around 9, 10 people. And people are just doing multiple things, so it's not like very formal, so people are knowing what value. So that's the best part, that every single employee knows what is our end customer requirement. So basically focus on that. We are wearing multiple hats, doing lots of stuff, but when the goal is clear, I think everything rest becomes very easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the loveliest time when you've got the DNA in the small team and everyone is together and hungry for the same goals. Yeah. So maybe the backstory. So what brought you to the idea of CloudKompass? How did you come to
Yeah, so very interesting. So throughout my career, actually, my career is now around 20 years professionally. And I was lucky enough to, most of the times I had been dealing the solutions for platformic approach. So I'd been modernizing legacy softwares, building new software, building new platform, and I basically grew with the growth of hyperscalers as well. So going into like how cloud evolved, how it transformed SaaS itself, and meanwhile I also kept on learning with it, like understanding their really, nitty gritty stuff underneath what is lying. So I was understanding a lot about the cloud. And meanwhile, when I was going with it, I was always, knowing, okay, how to grow, how to upscale the platforms, how to gain better reliability, better availability, make it like future proof. It was good. Then in 2020, I was actually working in Omeo as a director of platform, and I was owning the whole platform, infrastructure platform, business platform, and so on. And there, it was a travel tech company, and there was a COVID hit during that time, and suddenly, cost of infrastructure became very, very critical. And that was a huge infrastructure itself. It was all under me, and that was the first time when I actually realized that there's a huge vacuum in the organizations around, that the costs of these hyperscaler, costs of these infrastructures are not really aligned with the business outcomes. It's some way, laggy. So if you are trying to, even if you are cutting down the cost, you have no idea how much you can cut down. What are the various strategies you should follow? Is business aligned with it? Should I do it, or should engineering do it? Or, will board be accepting this or not? What are the already external providers or vendors who can do it? So it was like kind of very unknown territory. I took that challenge, and we also successfully actually brought down 70%, more than 70% of our infrastructure budget at that time.
Yeah.
But it was after like really sleepless nights, working with the founder of the company as well, Mr. Naresh, also infrastructure team, also the chief financial officer of the Omeo. Countless meetings with GCP, with AWS, so on. But eventually we cut down the cost. But then, then again, I moved to different organization, different companies. And during this while, I realized that there is a huge space. There are companies who are still, wasting too much of money in the cloud. Then suddenly AI also came in, and it is actually, replicating the same scenarios what cloud has been through. It's becoming more and more important in the organization, for the product, for the development. At the same time, costs are getting out of hand. It's not really well known where you are putting the cost of AI. Is it the right way to measure it? Is it what we are paying is really making sense for the product, for the cost factors or not? So all of these unknown territory again. And this intrigued me, like, okay, I have this information. I have already dealt the, I learned it hard way, but now I have this information. How about putting that into the, a proper software, a proper solution which could help? So I started that journey, and then started working on the solution. And I think now, after again several sleepless nights, stressy days, finally we are able to provide something which is looking pretty good.
That's exciting. So, but it's fun to think that it's this idea of like sharing this business objective working together with the founder and yourself as the head of engineering to look at a cost problem and to move beyond reliability and performance and the typical traditional domains of engineering attention to really lean into the full cloud economics picture, right? And then also, as you mentioned earlier, it's also about having this shared language, which is
that's very critical. That's very important. And again, it was easier for me, I would say, because I was lucky enough to be working, in a very early phase of my life with people like you, people like uh, uh, Kai, for example, multiple founders I worked with. So the best part working with founders is always like you get to know about you need to get things done, not like really following the protocols, but protocols will already follow when like this is the objective, and then you start making the protocols, you start making the KPIs, which is like better way rather than going other way around.
Yeah. So I guess getting straight along to the metrics. I mean, the question I'm always interested in is what are the metrics that you depend on? And I have a feeling that they're going to be about cost. So what do you,
Yes.
Emma, like what are the metrics you depend on most?
So at the and actually that's again I learned with my experience that it's very important that you are making KPIs for the success and not thinking that you just follow the KPIs and you will reach the success. First identify what is your goal, right? And at the end, the main goal of the companies are like there's a North Star, and then there are business outcomes who are fulfilling that North Star. And then from that you deduce, rest of the things out of it. So when I think about what are my main KPIs to go, it's always outcome based. And it's basically primary metrics I love to follow is cost to serve per feature, which is like also in my previous experiences, I always thought like when I am having a magic wand, what I would like to have.
Yeah.
As like so you're developing software, it's always like you're always having a big backlog. You are having several features. You're already on your platform running several features, and then you are having cogs, but you are not really sure which feature is bringing really what value or what should be the highest priority. We are always having some sort of idea to do this, but none of the tool could actually provide me like really okay what should be the cost to serve per feature. And then this over the time I thought that this is something I always want, and this is what I try to always reach. Maybe not like super fine tuned, but this is something like I always try to grab, like finding cloud tagging, sometimes also try to identify how much people are working in that particular organization, how much time it took, what are the other infrastructure factors playing on that, and so on. So try to always get like cost to serve per feature. That's always my high priority KPI. Then secondly, this is important also to know like reliability versus velocity factor. This is important because you think several times like, okay, how about we just have the most reliable platform in the world? Is it really good? But nothing comes for free, right? So you need to also identify like how much it's costing you. So this ratio, is it really validating my business? Is it really making my sense to my business? So this is very important again. And if we try to understand it by an example, like think about and this is a real story. I was working for one of the SaaS companies. We were having an availability of 99.5%, and it was considered good, right? So no complaints in real, and we were doing good. And suddenly I was basically working as engineering head, and I was given like, okay, let's give the best platform. Then I looked out, okay, if we are talking about best platforms, what are the gold standards? Okay, then availability goes to 99.99, so 4 nines. Okay, can we do it? Yes, of course we can do it. Then start working on it. Try to identify, okay, you need to have, your cloud should be in multiple region, your database should be replicating to multiple slaves in different geographical location, have more and more hot storage. Okay, we did it, we managed it. Availability 99.99. Okay, great. Customer hardly knew, they were not really asking for it. Infrastructure bill, it was double of what it was before. Then I asked myself, was it really making sense? Okay, now we can say our platform is really gold standard, but is it really making sense when we are paying double of what was it was really asked? So then it became important. It taught me again in a hard way that it should be really, having a reliability versus velocity trade-off, what exactly is expected from the business outcome, and then work on it.
Yeah.
Similarly, like you can also think about the speed. Speed also changes. If you are again going by gold standard, you are saying, okay, I want to have gold standard with my development. You can have multiple test cases. You can also, put several stages in your QA. It will slow your releases. It will slow your development. Is it really the need of the business at that point of time? Could be, could not be. But this has to be really aligned with your business. And this is where, like, it becomes very important that we are understanding the business outcome. We are understanding what is really required.
And this
So,
is at a time now. I mean, I think one of the great things about your ideas and your positioning, Hemant, is you are so in tune with our times. I mean, every time we listen or hear or participate in an engineering conversation now, it's always about speed being the number one delivery criteria, of course. I mean,
yeah.
let's be fast and then let's iterate and improve, right? But let's get the basics in place, the positioning great, be fast as we can be, and then we have the luxury of iteration when we've proved our point. But maybe let's just go back to the beloved cost to serve per feature, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
let's take a look at your favorite metric, this cost to serve per feature. So maybe just break down for me what the formula is for that.
So, formula is basically very simple. It's basically identifying what are your infrastructure costs, your AI costs now as well, and service or operational costs to run that particular feature or to serve that particular customer. I mean, the best is like per customer per feature. That's even great. Again, gold standard to identify it. However, this is not easy to find, easy to get.
No, I mean, just
Uh,
I know in my own experience, just working with these, what do you call them? I mean, they're not fixed service, right? But your cloud service bills come in, and it takes a lot of work to work out how to what would you call them? Attribute the different aspects of the bill to different customers and to different product offerings and all sorts of different things. So I guess that's where the real challenge is to be able to attribute
yeah.
these costs to
So
features.
Yeah. So the main challenge is basically when you look at your cloud billing. Cloud billing is one of the biggest bills. Now AI is also following the same path, but this is a main factor, and it follows your infrastructure. It's not following your features or your customers,
Yeah.
right? So then again, like what are other attributes which are also affecting your costs? Then this is also like how your resources are being used. Then this is also like where is your P&L analysis? Then it's also like your AI bills, where are they coming from? So all of these things are like completely diverse. It's diverse and also at different places all around. There are several solutions in bits and pieces, like okay, you can start tagging your infrastructure, for example, your clouds, for example. It helps a little bit, but not really. I mean, yeah, because there are more and more shareable components in your platform when you're going for the platformic approach. Or if you're using database, for example, a shared database, then how would you divide it among different features? So it gets very complicated. So first challenge is about you really identifying how you are putting all of these things, segregating in the sense of tagging and all, how you're putting that, then also how you are accumulating all of these different resources together, and then crunching the number in a meaningful way, right? The idea is not to get exact numbers, because that's, if you ask me also, exact single dollar or single cents, if you are really going to do it, it's not, first of all, it's not practical. Secondly, it's not going to give you really super high value. The super high value would be when you are roughly knowing about like what are the costs. And then trend is very important. Trend is important in the sense, like if you would know like my infrastructure budget for feature A grew by threefold, and my user is doubling or it's not affecting at all,
Hmm.
then it makes, it answers you quickly whether this feature making sense or not for me.
Yeah.
Right. So
And I guess this is
crunching
more
these,
and more important in it. Sorry. I guess this is more and more important also as we move to consumption and usage pricing, and as so and as AI is reducing the cost of development, so we have more and more features. We're producing things all the time. We have to understand what our usage or our consumption costs are, and ultimately we have to understand where we invest in the products and the features that are going to deliver maximum return.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Last month I was visiting my customer like a lot, so I really wanted to know like their real issues. And cloud was 2 months ago, and now the real issue is coming with AI, because it's very ambiguous, it's very fuzzy right now how AI features are being sold in the tokens, like what models they are using, is it really use this model or not. And now we actually, this is also great, like now our platform is really well supporting that also. So
Cool.
another
I
good
mean,
feature.
I think we're all getting used to token watching, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Becomes a scary
Yeah.
proposition. So,
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, I was going to ask for an example, but I guess you're dog fooding. So have you used the principles and have you had insights about your own features by applying your beloved,
Yeah.
metric?
Yeah, and I actually, good question, very nice question, because we are living in a luxury where we are building a product which is like really used by us.
Yeah.
So it's good because you cannot test always your product by yourself. So we are using it as also customer of ourselves. So we are dog fooding, yes, and a very interesting story. So this. Price to feature, it's very important. We also using it in a product. We It is about like 3 months ago, we are having Polaris, which is like our main AI agent, which is like providing lots of AI related solutions to the customers. And we were actually checking that, and we identify that it's costing more than half of the rest of the platform.
Okay.
So, okay, it
Good.
actually, again, it raised lots of questions. It's something which is loved by the customers.
Yeah.
It's great, but should we really, invest half of our costs in that? We then discussed in the development organization. We sat together, we identify along with also, management also, try to identify, and then we came to conclusion. Okay, let's change the architecture. Let's rebuild the architecture. Okay, we start designing the new architecture, which was very good. So it actually solved the issue. But the best part is not just solving the issue. The best part is now engineers are really into that. They understand that this is their primary factor, how much cost it's gonna cost. So now whenever we are working on a new solution, working on a new feature, we always come up, we also have to think about what is our cost to serve. So that also always come as one of the primary KPIs. So every decision is following that. So it's now a first class citizen. So I'm very happy about that, and it actually also changed the way we had been working before.
So it's actually a great segue to my next question, because I was going to ask, how are engineers responding to these metrics? I mean, you're singing the song of finance and you're bringing a broader business perspective to the architecture, to the feature decisions and so on. So, we're crunching against money at the interface. So the interface with engineering. So in your opinion, like, how are engineers responding to metrics? And I guess what you're saying is, if you're bringing everyone together to look at these problems together, it's transformative. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what's most important factor when we are talking about KPIs? And KPI should be always about not judging the people. It's about like if it's answering your question, if it's giving you any value, if it's gonna make you reach your objective easily or better. So as soon as you are finding that, I mean, I was also an engineer at one point of time. It's very easy to, change the numbers or play with the KPIs. If I would find
Emma.
out like somebody, yeah,
Please tell me how you game metrics as an engineer.
um, sprint velocity. If your sprint velocity is not really high, okay, just just make your story point double of what it could be. So again, like this is these are I think every engineer knows it. So if you start making judgment about the people with KPIs, it's not going to work really well. How you going to perceive, or how you going to put KPIs as like these are something which is going to help you to achieve your goal. So make it like that. And how you can do it, that again goes by, like, if you put again giving some of the numbers, some of the KPI, like these are your KPIs. If it's judging me, really bad. If it's helpful for me, great. If it's also something which I cannot really act upon, then again, you start getting lazy, you don't really follow those numbers, and you're like, okay, whatever. Then gradually it also reduce your trust from the KPIs itself.
Mm.
So very important, like making a very clear ownership, ownership in the sense of like, these are your KPIs. This is called KPIs for that particular reason. Agree upon that, work upon that, and not like, this is, if you are going to reach this KPI to that, then you will be promoted. That's not going to work. It's about like your ulterior goal is, maybe OKR or something. And these are the KPIs which is going to help you to reach that objective, and then work with the KPI. Then it works like wonders.
Yeah. So it's about ownership. It's about actionability, like making sure, or relevance is maybe better, to make sure that the metric is actually intrinsically substantial to your work, and that you're able to share, well, not share ownership of that metric, but certainly understand that that metric is an important part of the business dialogue. Yeah.
True. Exactly. And, in general, it sounds easy, but actually it's not. And again, like if you're talking about like setting the clear KPIs, for example, or setting the KPIs you can agree upon, which is really delivering something value as a business outcome. At the same time, also the particular organization or individual is also agreeing upon it. This is also a long game. Normally, there are several models behind it. I normally use BAPO model, which makes it much easier. And I've
No, I
actually
think
used it.
we should maybe just let people. I hadn't heard of this when you mentioned it to me, so it was shame on me. But this BAPO framework, yeah. So explain that a little bit.
Yeah. So this BAPO framework, it basically tells that everything should be starting with the business outcome. So first of all, you design the business outcome. That gives you the architecture, what is the architecture should look like. Then this architecture defines how the processes should look like. And based upon these processes, you define the organizations. And then inside the organization, you're putting the people. So it makes ownership very clear. It makes the objectives very clear. So this gives you very easy, kind of a flow of information, and then also aligning the KPIs along with the main long-term objective. So this works pretty well in most of the organization. Of course, I won't say it works everywhere,
Yeah.
because if there is something like that which is a magic wand, everybody will blindly follow it. There are some manipulations here and there. Like I normally go by BAPO framework along with Conway's law, and then it pretty much works quite well in my experience.
Okay, so BAPO is this business architecture process organization, and Conway is whatever your organization looks like is what you're selling, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I mean, I guess the struggle there again, and you've already talked about this with your work at, coming to CloudKompass, is really hard part is understanding what the business is, what the business value is, what the positioning is. And, if you have a clear, strong opinion about this is the best possible framework to move to architecture and into ownership and so on. So given all of this remarkable communication and consensus that you've enjoyed in your career, Hemant, if there is one principle you wish more organizations understood, or more people understood that you worked with, what would that principle or metric be?
That is something to think about. Interesting question. What I normally felt like, I'm going by normally this cloud cost and AI cost again, because why I'm saying that, because it's a major factor. There are several things as well which I would, but really major factor is this cloud cost and AI cost, and which often considered as technical problems. So normally what happens is like, executives or finances are just sitting, they are basically dealing with the business, with the customers, with the investors, and they are just getting some magic numbers from there. On cloud, I'll be investing 100,000 euros for this month or something like that. But for them, there is an interface which is a black box, right? So they are directly going to engineers. They have no understanding of real business, what is happening outside the box. They are just again giving them some sort of magic number. Okay, this year we will cut down the cost by, I don't know, 20%, which is give and take. How? Why? This is not clear because they are not really understanding. There could be 10 different way, at least 10 different way how you can optimize the cost. They are called strategies. Like you want to go with the spot based optimization, or you want to go like lowering your AI model, or you want to go with the more commitment heavy optimization ever, but they don't understand that. So what's important here is like, first of all, it should be understand that cloud costs and AI costs should be a business problem.
Yeah.
And this should be shared properly in an organization in a meaningful way.
It's my pleasure to tell you that Twin Signals Metrics at Work is sponsored by HelloTwin.ai, the world's first digital authority. Stop managing agents. Start managing outcomes. Sign up for the private beta program today at HelloTwin.ai.
Also, like if you look into it as engineering, their main KPI is always kept as good architecture, good reliability of the software, faster development. But this is completely against when you're going by reducing the cost. So if engineering is not really understanding if what kind of cost we are talking about and why we are talking about the cost, they are not part of that decision, then there will be a clash. There will be like, kind of two opposite sides who are, running in a different direction. So business is going towards cutting down the cost, engineering going towards quality. Quality means, more cost. So this alignment is very important. So that's something which is very important. For that, it automatically becomes how to bring that transparency. So how to, have this understanding that what should be the right strategy, how we are doing it, how the ROI looks like. You will be changing, lots and lots of things during the while, then how these costs should be reflected, this ROI should be reflected. We need to change the strategy in between. But there should always be like, transparency, people or proper stakeholders should be sitting and also measuring. Measuring is very important, not like in one quarter, yeah, in one quarter it's like, okay, I will give you this much cost, and then after 2 months everybody forgets or something new comes up, everybody is just working on something different.
But I mean, chief finance officers must love you. I mean, you're just telling them that they're not on this journey, they're on their own, right? That it's not finance that owns costs. It's a cross-functional responsibility, and it's also is a fundamental contributor to the delivery of value and
Yes.
features that are worth their weight in gold.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, I worked with lots of CFOs and finance people. I saw their headache. I mean, it's not easy thing to do.
No, especially
like they are committing for so many people.
Yeah, I'm thinking about all of those cloud service commits that people have to do, substantially in advance. I wouldn't want to be doing that on my own. Hemant, maybe just for a moment. I mean, of course, you're looking large at the cost of AI models, but what has been your experience working with AI and metrics? So what's your experience so far?
So I think there's no denial. I think everybody knows that AI is the next step. So everybody knows we are going there, and it's a great tool. It's now what it's doing magically is it's putting the effort as very cheap. So effort is now that not that important anymore. What is more important is like what you are doing, are you doing it right? So your decisions are getting more and more important rather than how much work you did. That also changes the KPI also. Like now, I think the velocity, for example, should not be a KPI, or how many merge requests did you pull, how many pull requests did you merge, or how many code lines of codes these are now not really relevant. How many features you're delivering, it's also not something you really want to go for. What really is important is what meaningful you are doing. What you are doing is bringing you the better revenue, better business outcome with like less operating costs. These things becomes important. In that phase also, AI bringing also very easy to measure those things. So this is again strength of AI, that it it actually calculates mass of the logic very quickly. So now we have lots and lots of KPIs around. What AI is very good in, like crunching all of these KPIs into some meaningful manner.
Yeah.
But this is again, a tough cookie. So if you think like you can just make one logical model which will rule them all, this is again like huge risk, right? Because still it's very difficult to trust on AI at the same time. So it crunches number very well, but there has to be a proper kind of a deterministic validation engine
Yeah.
somewhere, which is
Absolutely.
ensuring what you are doing, is it really, going through the right gate or not? Otherwise, it could also backfire. Same times we are still living in
Why
a very
just for our friends listening, so why do you need that deterministic validation? What is these m- m- these
so
LLMs
yeah.
are just probabilistic and they can go rogue, or what is the
Yeah.
problem?
So LLM always, I mean, that's the main problem, and this is they always make it open. LLM, they never promises you about 100% confidence. They always gives you some sort of confidence, high, low, medium. Confidence level never 100%, always below. Then there could always be some hallucination happen. So they do good things, good logic in mass, very good, which like very difficult with some of the classic validation engine or classic algorithm, which will take like forever. So AI can actually help in that. And then on top of it, you can just make, kind of a proper gate validation, then like if else or switch cases where you are exactly, benefiting from the proper deterministic validation, that nothing bad is going to pass over. And this also helps you in correcting whatever is underneath in AI polluted or something which is like, going wrong in hidden sight. So
Yeah. So it's about combining AI with controls,
yeah,
deterministic
that's
control,
that's nice
and
way to say.
okay. So then last question from me today. So if you look forward,
Mhm.
maybe, I don't know, 2 years or so, what would you envision with AI and with your mission to put shared concepts of cost and engineering,
Mhm.
at the center stage of innovation and development?
Yeah. So one thing is very clear, that AI will dramatically increase the feature creation. So in future, like feature creation will be very cheap. You can think about the feature, you can create it much faster than it was before, and much faster what is right now, which is already like amazing to see. And then the challenging will be not to create the feature, it is about deciding, it is about taking the right decision. What is the right feature to build? What is really, meeting your objective as in terms of your business? So that's going to get more and more important. And that also brings in like feature economics will be then a core management discipline for the
Cool.
obvious reason. And then in if you really want to do it moving further, then it also makes engineers to be coming much closer to your customers and business out. I can think about like having, embedded engineering, which is like quite working quite well these days, like, in marketing team or pre-sales team. Now they are having embedded engineers who are understanding the customers better. They can also provide the solution better. They can also, understand the business better. So in that way, that could work. And if we are really going by like how I ideally want to see a typical day, I want to see that there should be like, morning, in the morning, I open a PR and my diffs are showing me not just what is changed, but what is projected cost to serve impact before it merges. Right. So this is something I want. Or when I'm doing my stand-ups, it's not about like what did you ship? It's about like uh, what did we learn and what did it cost to us? right? The dashboard I check first, it should not be the velocity. It should be the unit economics trend per feature. So these are the cost signals. They are like they live inside somewhere in the engineering flow now, instead of arriving a month later as a finance surprises. So that's where we are actually leading to, and I'm really seeing now it's not far. And similarly, we have also again, now I'm not advertising, but similarly we have also released um, this forecast module, which is exactly doing that, which is
Yeah.
also, you
I
just
think we're just really getting used to seeing the meter ticking. I mean, the meter's ticking all the time now. If we, as the tokens go past, and we're watching up and
yeah,
all the time. So
exactly.
I love the idea of a future of feature economics, and I just love the idea of the way that you see the sharing of costs, Hemant, as a cross-functional discipline and as something that enhances product delivery and customer value. So thank you so much for joining me today. My eyes
Thank
are
you.
open to the potential for feature economics. So that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the great session, and thank you for making me think a lot. So this is also like, sometimes it was very nice and challenging question. So, but very good, very nice. Thank you very much, Rizal.
Thanks for listening to Twin Signals, Metrics at Work. See you next episode.